If your team is looking a little worse for wear this game week, don't worry, I've got you covered with the ultimate free hit draft in today's video. Before we dive into today's team, I just want to say that we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the season, so if you want to help me hit that goal, be sure to like, comment, and the main one, hit that subscribe button. Starting off in goal, we are going to go with Onana. Manchester United have got Fulham at home. A pretty good fixture, to be honest. Fulham offensively aren't the best team. You'd imagine United at home with the recent run that they've put together. This is being filmed before the Luton game. They are currently 4 unbeaten with the run that they're putting together. It does seem like Ten Hag has potentially turned that ship around. There are some other good goalkeeper candidates. You'd obviously have to look maybe at Palace goalkeeper. We've got Jose Sarr on the bench as well with Sheffield United at home. Pretty good fixture for them. Maybe go for Raya as well with Arsenal being top of XG conceded. There are some really good goalkeeper picks this week, but I think Onana complements the other defenders that we have gone for with this team. So let's go and take a look at some of those. Starting off, we are going to obviously go for Gabriel. 2 goals, 1 assist for him over the past 5 game weeks. And like I said, Arsenal are leading the way over those past 5 game weeks for expected goals conceded. Over the whole season as well, they are second. They are purring at the moment. A 6-0 win over West Ham and then a 5-0 comfortable win over Burnley today. You know, Arsenal are looking a very, very good side at the moment. Definitely worth loading up on some Arsenal assets for this game week. I know people potentially would see this fixture. Newcastle, a little bit maybe difficult, but with the injuries that they've got at the moment, the form that they're in, they're not really picking up wins. I think it's now 4 games without a win for them in all competition. So they are struggling at the moment, Newcastle. As well as that, Newcastle do find themselves rock bottom for XG conceded. 20th place. I think it's about 16 XG they've conceded over the past 5 game weeks. So not good. If Luton can put 4 past them, what could a team like Arsenal do? That's all I'm going to say. Moving on to our next defender, it's going to be Nori. That Sheffield United fixture is absolutely delicious. And watching what Doherty did against Sheffield United last week, it does seem that they are very exposed to teams that play with high and wide fullbacks. Wolves are no different. They also play a very kind of similar system where the fullbacks push up, get into those attacking positions. So Nori could have an absolute field day with this one. Sheffield United at home, obviously they've just beaten Spurs today 2-1 as well. It wasn't overly impressive performance from him, but like I said, what I've seen when they played Luton and the way that Luton just pushed the fullbacks up, left them nice and high, I think Nori and Semedo could have an absolute field day. If you wanted to go for one of the more conventional centre-backs, Kilman and obviously Craig Dawson are great shouts as well to go for from Wolves. Moving on to our final defender, and it is going to be Anderson from Crystal Palace. They've got Burnley at home, a pretty good fixture on paper for them. It potentially could be their new manager's first game in charge as well. He'll want to do well. Burnley seem like they are down and out. You would imagine the Palace manager wants to get a positive result, wants to get a good performance. Anderson, I think a lot of us were quite hot on him earlier in the season. Definitely got that set piece threat as well from corners and free kicks. Scored 2 goals so far this season, so maybe could grab himself a goal against Burnley. There aren't any other Crystal Palace players in this team, with both Elise and Eze being doubts at the moment, but I do feel if we do get some positive encouragement after Monday's game, maybe in some press conferences, that one of those could be available. They potentially could be options as well for this game week 26 free hit. That was the back line. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments. Let's move on into the midfield. We're obviously going to start off with Pedro Neto, picking up another assist today. He's having a cracking season, has been cooking when he has been fit and available, as have a lot of Wolves players, to be honest. Hwan Hee-chan is another great shout you potentially could go for. You obviously do get penalties with him, so, you know, a really big asset. My only concern with going for Wolves players is they do miss Cunha at times. You know, I've kind of read on Twitter that he is kind of their main cornerstone of the attack. He's going to be out for a few months, so it will be interesting to see how they break down a more resilient defence when they're not on the counter, when the space isn't there for the players like Pedro Neto, you know, or Sarabia to potentially kind of drive into. How are they going to fare against a team that are going to sit deep away from home? It's probably going to be a little bit of a different test, but I still think Pedro Neto or Hwan Hee-chan would probably be in my game week 26 free hit draft if I was looking to activate it. Moving on to the next man, it is going to be Kevin De Bruyne. Now, this is an interesting one because obviously he blanked today against Chelsea, but he was pretty much involved in everything, wasn't he? Taking the corners, lots of set pieces as well, whipping the balls in for Erling Haaland, potentially should have got himself an assist. My only concern with going with KDB is the short time frame between these games. Obviously, City have to play on Wednesday, and then they will be playing this game at the weekend. Then it will be back to Champions League football against Copenhagen at home. So maybe we might see a little bit of rest and rotation from Pep Guardiola. But in terms of big hitting assets this game week, with the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea and Spurs not having games, it is quite, sparse for these big hitters, and KDB is very capable of putting up some mega scores. Since his return from injury, 4 assists, 1 goal. Probably should have had another one today if Haaland could have found the back of the net. Moving on to our next man, it's going to be my second Manchester United player. Nearly said first. My second Manchester United player. It is going to be Garnacho. I've been super impressed with his performances. He has had the most touches in the box for a midfielder, under 6.5 million in the game. Fulham at home should be a really good fixture for him. Like I said, this United attack at the moment does seem like it is purring, but this is prior to the Luton game. This could all have gone out of the window by then. But as you can see, we've got some nice other options if you wanted to go for midfield. I think, Brighton have a very positive fixture against Everton. Pascal Gross or Matoma could also be very good shouts. Moving on to our final midfield player, and it is going to be Bukayo Saka. The boy is cooking at the moment. 7 goals for him in his past 5 games. Arsenal do have Champions League midweek, but like I said, I feel they'll probably comfortably get through that. Saka will probably play the weekend as well, with them fully in this title race now. Like I said as well with Gabriel, Newcastle are bottom for XG conceded. Saka's cooking at the moment. The data that he's putting up looks like he's got his penalties back as well, which is always a great asset to see. He seems to be in the form of his life at the moment, so it's going to be very interesting to see what he does against a very ropey Newcastle United side. Moving into our front line and wasting no time, we obviously are going to have Erling Haaland in here. I know he blanked today, but I wouldn't be expecting that from him again. I think it was 1.51 expected goal involvement for him in the game. Another day, he puts that header in. He doesn't miss all those chances. He butts them away. People are pretty happy with him. That's sometimes what happens in football. He will get plenty of opportunities against Bournemouth. They did seem a little bit shaky and a little bit leaky at the back against Newcastle today. Definitely areas that Manchester City could exploit. And I think Haaland probably is going to be a captain on this free hit as well. Moving on to our other 2 forwards, starting off with Ollie Watkins. Now, I think this one's a little bit of an interesting one. Obviously got his 2 goals today against Fulham. Nottingham Forest, interestingly, are 3rd for XG conceded since Nuno Espirito Santo has actually taken over. But Watkins just seems to be one of those players that just continues to pick up attacking returns. It's now 28 attacking returns in 25 games for him so far this season. He is cooking as well, with 4 goals and 3 assists in his past 5 game weeks. So definitely a player I would be considering on my free hit if I didn't already. Obviously, another option I'm going to throw out there, he's not on this team. It is going to be Ivan Toney. Since his return, he has been bagging the goals as well, but you will see who we've come on to actually pick instead of him. We have actually gone for Rasmus Højlund. Now, again, this is prior to the Luton game. He might have a really poor game. He might pick up an injury. But the past 5 games he's played, he's came away with an attacking return in every single one. Him and United at the moment do seem like they are clicking. He's finally found the back of the net, started scoring some goals. I feel if he blanks against Luton, then maybe the shout to go for Ivan Toney is that little bit more. He also has penalties as well. He's playing a West Ham team who do sit 19th for XG conceded. So I do think Ivan Toney could break his way into this front line, but it's going to be super, super hard to potentially dislodge one of these other players. But let me know if you think Ivan Toney should have been in today's free hit draft. Before we finish up, let's have a quick run through of the bench. We spoke about Jose Sarr, Sheffield United at home, really good fixture for Wolves. Pascal Gross, pretty steady asset for Brighton. Everton at home, you would expect them to comfortably win there. Same with Estupiñán as well, pretty much just offering other options on the bench. And then Charlie Taylor, just there to potentially, just come on if he needs. He's probably going to sit 3rd sub. It doesn't matter too much. If you did enjoy today's video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions as well about your team, get them in the comments section below. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck this game week.